Hey guys, Zane here with another quick one take review, and today I wanted to talk about the new Inanimate Existence album, The Masquerade. The Masquerade is the latest studio album from California death metal band Inanimate Existence, which is one of my favorite death metal band names out there right now, and that's really saying something because there are some pretty fun, colorful ones right now. Now, unfortunately, there's a pretty major divide between Inanimate Existence, the band name, and Inanimate Existence, the band's music, and it's just a very, very big divide in quality. For such a gripping and hard-hitting name, you would think that the band would make some gripping and hard-hitting music, but unfortunately that's just not true, and the Masquerade kind of shows the cracks in that. The biggest problem with Inanimate Existence's sound is that they never really take up their influences to the fullest extent. There are times where the Masquerade feels like it wants to go in a sort of progressive, technical death metal sort of direction, and there are passages in certain songs that really do feel like they're about to embrace that, but then they just don't. They go back to a more meat and potatoes standard sort of death metal sound and never really go the distance with that particular style, which ultimately feels kind of weak in the grand scheme of things. There are also times where the Masquerade feels like it wants to be very brutal in nature, and maybe even as large as the term brutal implies, but it never really goes that far either, and it ultimately kind of sonically leaves things a little open-ended, as frankly I never really feel like the band are as loud as they could or frankly should be. Now, don't let me be misunderstood. Inanimate Existence are a group of very talented individuals who can play extremely well. It's just a shame that they don't really crank the dials up as far as they need to go in terms of their sound, their overall influences, and the style and direction that they want to go in. While this is normally the part where I would say Inanimate Existence still have time to find themselves as a group, as an act, they really don't. I mean, as of this year, it's been a decade since they debuted. This is the band's 6th album. You would think by now they would kind of find their own sound or niche within the realm of metal, but they simply haven't. And although the band play very well and are technically proficient, I still am slightly disappointed, more so with this album could have been than what it actually presents, as what it presents is fine, listenable, and genuinely enjoyable and genuinely good in a couple of spots here or there, which is why I'm going to give it 3 stars out of 5. It's not mind-blowing by any extent whatsoever, and frankly, I think there were ways that it could have been mind-blowing if the band had just taken up a bit more progressive style, or a more progressive nature, or a more brutal style, or a more destructive nature as they try to annihilate everything in their path. But ultimately, this just kind of feels like brutal death metal light in a way, technical or progressive death metal light, as Inanimate, really, they just kind of never fully go and take what they could take out of this record. Again, though, The Masquerade is perfectly fine, I suppose, as a regular death metal album. It's just not one that I find worth revisiting too terribly much. So again, 3 stars out of 5. And with that being said, that's the end of this quick review, and I will see you guys in the next one.